I went 2-7 on Commander Night at my own house. Please help. Welcome to Commander Debrief, where I tell you guys about my latest deck techs, cards that I like, cards that I don't like in decks that I have, and I beg you guys to help me be a better Magic the Gathering player. Let's get started. Let's get the wins out of the way. Jenova, Ancient Calamity. Love this deck. I seem to always draw Orvar somehow. It's a great card. So I had Jenova on board with Branching Evolution, Orvar, and Gaia's Gift for the W. Next W we got on the night, Teval, the Balance Scale. So I really didn't even cast Teval. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I won by turn 5, yep, with Tormod, 2 Altars, and the Gravecrawler. Now let's talk about the decks that didn't do diddly. Brenard, Ginger Sculptor. I kept a 3-land hand, but that's the only thing I ever got. 2 of those lands may have been colorless. We casted a Ginger Brute, and that was it. I had that Urza in my hand, can't remember the name of it. Had that card ready to go, never got to cast it. Deck number 2 that didn't do diddly, Nekusar the Mindrazer. Yeah, I want him to be so well. I actually have these Joker sleeves I thought was like really cool. Joker, the concept is making you mad, you're drawing cards and you're like learning information and it's killing you while you're learning information. That seems very Joker to me. Yeah, it didn't do anything. It's my bad, I did it. I kept the 2-land hand by Illegal Scry twice. If you don't know what Illegal Scry is, beginning of the game when you draw 7, got a iffy hand, you look at the top card. Well, I looked at the top 2, because you're gonna draw that first one anyway. You're not even really cheating at that point. But the third one was a 3rd land that I needed to cast stuff in my hand. Thought everything was golden. I had a Scalding Tarn in my hand. Played that turn 1, cracked that, go get a Triome. Shuffled away that 3rd land. Yeah, took me a couple turns before I got it back. Never really got to do anything. Okay, now let's shift to some of the decks that just, need a little bit of tweaking, had room for improvement. First up, we have Ganax, Astral Hunter. Background we chose is Feywild Visitor. I like the blue and red as far as like clone your dragons. I don't really have a big collection of red and blue dragons to put in the deck. So if you have any, trade them to me, sell them to me, whatever the case may be. I don't really like ordering online. One thing that really kept everybody at bay was that Sarkhan Planeswalker. I'll put it up because I ended up with about maybe, let's say, 6-7 dragons on the battlefield. So anybody, if they attacked me, it was doing 7 damage to them. So it kind of kept everybody back once they realized how that worked. That part was good. Let's talk about what didn't go well. So I was missing good dragons to make the deck better, like I said earlier. So once Ganax was off the battlefield, at one point I had to cast her for 9. That's way too much, right? All the treasures I was making, I wasn't able to cast it on other stuff. The treasures were just gone. I was making treasures just to recast my commander. It wasn't working. So what do you guys think? How do I make it better? What should I add? I think I want to add more card draw. What do you suggest? What do you have in your Ganax deck that's making it work? Phenax, God of Deception. I really want this deck to be good. Yes, it's mill. People don't like playing against mill, so I understand when I play, I'm going to be the target. It wasn't a... Okay, I'll just tell you. We ramped last night. It got to like turn 5 and we had like 9 mana available. I had Wayfarer's Bauble pop off turn 2 into like a Mind Stone Solemn Simulacrum kind of thing. Sad Robot came in. At one, it was like turn 5, maybe 6, but I had at least like access to 9 mana, which was great in a Phenax deck. But then after that, I had an Altar of the Brood out, so I was milling a little bit when the lands came out, but I never milled the way that deck wants to mill. Like I want to get, at least somewhere between 5 and 10 cards out of your library every turn, like Ruin Crab and, Hedron Crab, stuff like that, that's just going to mill every time a land enters, or mill because you're playing the game. Teferi's Tutelage. None of that happened. Something did happen. I had Phenax out. Ring Shift, I believe it's called. Phenax is not a creature, so because Phenax devotion, my devotion was less than 7 blue and black, Phenax was never a creature. So Ring Shift sat in my hand for pretty much the whole game until I finally cast it, went and got Brewvac. I had Traumatize in my hand. I was going to kill somebody on my next turn. Cast Brewvac, got to my next turn. I cast Traumatize. In response, To the cast of Traumatized, they killed Bruvek. Orvar the All Form. This is a deck that I really want to work as well. I love the concept of copying creatures, and Orvar is king copy a creature. If you cast a spell that would copy a creature, copy it again, pretty much what it says. Or a permanent even. I strive to make non-legendary copies of Orvar and then keep creating those copies. And I did that well, beginning of the game. Mirror Box was on the battlefield, so I made like 6 or 7 copies of Orvar at one time, and I was ready to pop off, and the table knew it. It was a 3-pot. I don't really carry a lot of counter spells in the mono blue deck. I know I'm that guy. I hate counter spells so much. I try not to run them. I should say, it's not I don't run them. I try not to, as my friend would point out. There are some decks where I have run counter spells. I had 6 or 7 Orvars ready to go. Right as I was about to pop off, I had a Ristic Study on the battlefield, got rid of Mirror Box, and that wiped out my entire Orvar collection. It didn't matter anything that I had accumulated. I ended up making, I think, 2 or 3 Ristic Studies, so I was drawing cards every time they did something, but it didn't matter at that point. I was too far gone. Okay, now, we played a game where my Ghired, Mirror of the Wilds, like I said, I love tokens, I love copying, was going against AC and Joda. Yes, that Joda. I made creatures, right? I made super creatures. Eartha Joe plus the Outcast. They worked very well together. I ended up with like maybe I think 5 creatures on the battlefield, 5 non-token creatures on the battlefield real quick. As soon as I made that first dragon, I ended up making 9 because of Eartha Joe. I was ready to go. I was super ready to go. I had, I think, 9 of those dragons and then 7 of those mercenaries ready to, you know, block anybody on the floor. What didn't go well, those dragons were not hasty. So I ended up with 45 power. I could have killed somebody because I don't think they had a lot of creatures. Yeah, AC really wasn't doing anything crazy yet with the flyers. Joda never really got off because AC was doing a little bit of land destruction. So I kind of had it in my hands to be able to win, but I just couldn't pull it off. AC went infinite turns. Yeah, got rid of it twice. AC cost like 10 or 12 to put on the battlefield, and didn't matter. Still kept it, pulled it off. And lastly, it hurts me to even think about. We ended up in a 5-pot after one of our people left. They had to go. I played Inspirit, the flagship vessel. Early game, I ended up with a Vanishing Whale and the Uthros land and the Filigree Vector, I think it's called. Stuff was moving. Here's where I messed up. I had the win on the table and I missed it. Here's what it looked like. Inspirit had somewhere near 14-ish charge counters on it. Uthros had a bunch of charge counters on it. The Filigree Vector was out there. I had the Vanishing Whale on the battlefield, untapped. I pulled these 2 cards, which, okay, I can see if I pay this amount right here, I could win the game. Oh, it's gonna take me another turn because I didn't have access to all the mana it would cost to do that on my turn. Reading the card explains the card. Once I cast this card, I should have stationed Inspirit with my Vanishing Whale, bringing its charge counters up past 20, and then use the Filigree Vector that's been there the entire game to sacrifice an artifact like my Commander, which would have used this card to move its counters onto the Darksteel Reactor. And I just passed the turn. Okay, this week, I'm not 100% sure what decks I want to run. I do want to make all of my decks more powerful. I got about 12 different decks that I've like shelved that I'm not using anymore that still have like key pieces in them. I know I got a Beastmaster's Ascension somewhere in here that can help a deck out. I'm sure of it. Maybe a Jessica's Will somewhere. I don't know. You let me know what you would do differently and cards you would add to those decks that I have already, because I need to make them better, because I cannot continue to go 2-7 in my own house. Thanks for watching.